Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginners League, from where the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolates intertwines with the intoxicating scent of engine exhaust. Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's penultimate round coverage of the Formula Neagle Season 22 Championship. Starfish appendages, Olympic rings, human senses, and global oceans. Hoping to add to the list of things that come in fives is Lee Anderson, as the current point leader looks today to pick up his 5th win this season in as many tries. In the previous 21 Formula Neagle campaigns, no driver has ever been able to shoot the moon, but Anderson has the crosshairs well sighted on the Sea of Tranquility, and with a victory today, the British speedster is just one more win away from pulling the trigger on sweeping the season. But all the aforementioned accomplishments are just frosting on a championship that is still baking in the oven. Will Anderson's racing batter continue to rise, or will his competition that includes David Third Degree Burns, the junkyard dog Use Junk, and the hotshot rookie Reese Saunders spoil the cake? Find out now as all the simulated Skippy action streams your way live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Peace, good health, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. Way up in the press box to bring you our Words Eye View. It's DJ Clark alongside yours truly, Bill Soups on. Sean Ambrose has director duties with cameras provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, the one, the only Dougie Beard. It was only a dozen races ago, just 7 flips of the calendar since Formula Neagle last visited Spa. If past performance accounts for anything, it is good news for the man of the hour, Lee Anderson, again, as he was last to win here. Active drivers today who posted top 10s, well, how about David Burns, who got a 2nd? The junkyard dog, Use Junk, came in 6th. And watch out for Nick Carty. He finished in the top 10 and has been quick of late. Chances are you, the viewer, were there as well. But in case you missed it, here's another look at today's racing venue.
Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. Less than an hour's drive east from the German border, this Belgian track has come to define racing for many different eras in the sport. It's no wonder it continues to entrance drivers when you look at the stats. The 7 kilometers over the course of a lap includes more than 330 feet in elevation change as it weaves its way through the Ardennes forest. Packed into this is 19 turns, some of which are considered among the most famous in the world of racing. Corners like La Source and Blanchemont have been on the lips of drivers for decades. But by far the most notorious is Eau Rouge and Rétillon. Typically referred to in name by just the first section, it dips low and swings left, then compresses and climbs to the right up a massive hill. The sequence ends with a completely blind crest that sweeps to the left and leads onto the incredibly long Kemmel Straight. The bravery required to be fast through there will pay off towards one of the most popular passing spots at Lacombe. Eau Rouge is exemplary of the rest of the circuit though. Most of the turns are incredibly fast and many include much of that signature elevation change. As jaw-dropping as the track is, you have to remember that this is the modern truncated layout. The old one, raced until 1979, was 14 kilometers in length, yet carried an average speed of 150 miles per hour. Present-day safety measures do cut down on the danger, but even in recent history, the circuit has proven deadly. It's clear why this track continues to be revered and respected by racers the world round.
Oh, that's a good look at Spa. All right, DJ, what do you think about this place?
Well, Soup, this is and always has been one of the absolute best racing circuits in the world. Formula One's been coming here since dirt was new, and just about every other racing series you can imagine has been coming here as well. In these skippies, it is a whole lot of fun. It's a whole lot of quick trail breaky kind of corners with some really, really great overtaking opportunities, specifically at the top of the Kemmel Straight going into Lacombe, as well as that dive down after Blanchemont into bus stops. So it is going to be nonstop action, and don't be surprised if we see that draft like we saw last week at the Nürburgring really starting to play in all the way from La Source up to Lacombe.
And before we talk about the points, let me drill down a little bit more on the track configurations. One of the things I always need my co-commentator to help me with when I come to Spa is where the heck do we start? Where the heck do we end this race? And how do the pits work? So help me out.
Well, just imagine that these guys are racing like they're in Formula One. It is exactly like that. The pit straight is between bus stop and La Source. The entrance to the pit lane is off of that chicane off of bus stop. The start-finish line is directly in the middle there, so that's where we'll be starting. That's where we'll be finishing.
And you know, I'm not a fan of chicanes, but man, this is one of my favorite chicanes here at Spa, because so many times it sets up a perfect drag race. The start-finish line, especially for the skippies, is the perfect distance away that you don't know how it's going to play out until they finish that final chicane and enter the start-finish line. Really exciting. Want to talk about exciting? Well, I don't know if the points are really that way. Let's go ahead and look at them, and I'll do my best to tell you what's going on. As our director brings it up, while you look at those, instead of going through the points, let me just take a second to talk about the point system here. 30 points for a win, with the ratio decreasing down to 15th place. 3 bonus points each for the top 3 qualifiers, plus 1 each for the fastest lap, and then for the most laps led. So a perfect day will be about 35 credits. And if you finish 16th, well, that could earn you as low as 0. So while the 22-point lead that Lee Anderson has seems safe, it is far from bulletproof. Now, maybe a little more exciting is going to be the F2 champion that DJ is going to talk about right now. This is always fun.
You're right, Soup. This one is close as can be across the board. There you can see it. Wojciech Podacek, John Torpy, Eric Lukal, and Andre Solander all within 10 points of each other, with Christopher Crook just looking at it on the inside. Now, to the eagle-eyed viewers out there that saw that, it is not a mistake. Eric Lukal is 3rd in F2 and 1st in F1. The reason for that is that Formula 2 Championship is decided based off of how you finish to other Formula 2 drivers. So Lukal, with his performance last week, got him a good boost in F1, but Podacek and Torpy have been more consistent across the F2 spectrum this year.
Drill down on the scoring system a little bit. Since the overall championship only scores down to 15 points, if they kept that for the F2 championship, you get a lot of guys where points would be hard to come by as they're finishing farther down the order. So they score it differently, and it makes it kind of exciting. We have one more championship to look at, and that is the Drivers' Championship here. Now, this is being crushed by 2 stupid dogs, but what I really want to talk about is tied for in last round, coming out of the Nürburgring. Team Kumbach was tied there they scored 24 points, and I want to highlight the 2 drivers. Eric Lukal with 5th, and Ludwig Sauer was 19th, so they had a good day. In fact, that was one of the few teams that actually had a pair of drivers participating at the ring. Now, you know what's interesting, if Lee Anderson registered as a one-man team, that team would be a mere 5 points behind 2 stupid dogs in the standings, who are manned, of course, by the longtime team of David Burns and Vincent Graham. All right, GSRC is always picking up new viewers, so with those viewers in mind, DJ, what's the race event details like here?
Well, as we've talked about, we are in Season 22, Round 5 of this Formula Neagle Championship. We are racing the skippies around here at Spa for a full 40 minutes, and it is a wide-open setup. You can tune these cars however you want, the only caveat being you've got a 51% fuel limit, so everybody's going to have to dive on into the pits, and the biggest wrench to throw into the gearbox this year, as always, is a standing start, which always makes for some very, very good action coming down the first turn.
Love standing starts. It's one of the few series that has them. It's always fun to see a standing start. A few MX5 series that we cover have standing starts as well. Those are great. Looking at the qualifying. Now, while you want to have always the best qualifying run that you can, Spa is such a draft track, DJ, that you're anywhere near the front, you're going to be in that front train.
Most certainly, you know, with the pits starting where they are, as we talked about, you come off of La Source, you go up Eau Rouge and Radion and get all the way up into Lacombe. You're going to be stuck behind somebody's draft for a while, so don't be surprised if the driver in the lead gets passed by the time we get to that really nice chicane complex. So drafting big here, qualifying may not be as important as we've seen at some other courses.
And Jay and I will try not to be too cavalier about it when we see it. If you're a new viewer to Formula Neagle, it may take you by surprise, but don't be surprised if you see the driver that's sitting in third end up in the lead by the time we get to the end of the straight. A lot of times shooting through the middle. That is a favored move here in Formula Neagle, and they do it a lot, and it becomes kind of been there, done that sometime. TJ, car number 337, our point leader, Lee Anderson, has that big 22-point cushion, but right now he's sitting in fifth. He's out of the bonus points. 3 bonus points. Got to get in the top 3.
He is, and that's a real surprise there from Anderson. But the guys who are sitting ahead of him, it's your usual suspects: Yost Young, David Burns, Vincent Bream, Eric Lukel, all guys that have had really, really great seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Anderson come alive here a little bit more, but I have to tell you, Soup, that 47.7 from Young is going to be hard to beat.
Indeed, and I really think that's just a matter of time till the Junkyard Dog. He's still looking for his first career win, but man, he's up there sniffing at it. Junkyard Dog doing that for a many, many times. Can we go ahead and look at David Burns, car number 125? He's teamed up with Eric Lukel. Now, these guys, this is one of those cool aspects of Formula Neagle. It is not lone qualifying, DJ. It's group qualifying. They're all out there, and they can team up for some good runs.
They can. It's very similar to what you see a lot of the F1 guys do when we head out to Monza, for example, that you kind of need that draft ahead of you to get things going, and that's exactly what Burns is doing here on Local. He's going to get a really, really good draft off of the source all the way up. You can see him trying to get a little bit of clean air right there, going up to that Eau Rouge Radion area, and then he's going to tuck back in, and that's going to probably shave off, I would imagine, a second and a half of his time.
Ride on board, and here's a little bit of dancing going on right here. If you can make that pass without slowing down the guy next to you, that's how you get it done. Oh, nice shot, Dougie Beard. I love that. I love the low angle shots where they're coming right at you. Beautiful shot. Let's go ahead. There's another car I want to look at that could be a factor today. Car number 91. He's a rookie. We saw him in the second race. He missed the season opener. I'm talking about Manuel Lucetta. Sitting 6th fastest right now in qualifying. Didn't put in a practice time. He could be a sleeper. He was really competitive in the second race until he made a rookie mistake. I might have those gremlins punished and put away, and I think he'll probably could be a factor.
I think he certainly could be. I think any of the rookies that we've seen out here in this season, he and Reese Saunders as well, they've sort of been able to put those rookie gremlins aside, and they've definitely learned from their mistakes in the early rounds of pitting a little bit early and throwing them off sequence. So definitely he's a sleeper to watch, currently sitting 6th right now.
Those are the two that caught my eye as well. You heard DJ mention Manuel Lucetta, car number 91, and then Reese Saunders, car number 26, who has been really fast, racing up front a lot, and has just been prone to, we call them rookies. They're only rookies because, DJ, they're new to the Formula Neagle, but both of these guys have plenty of Skippy experience.
Oh, most certainly. To be categorized in that F1 championship, you have to have an I rating over 2,300, and I will tell you, as mine currently sits somewhere around the 1,500 mark, it's pretty difficult to get it up above 2K.
Good for you. I always feel more comfortable when I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of I rating with my partner. All right. Qualifying going on. The big news continues to be, you can see on the tower, last time we checked in on the frosted purple machine of Lee Anderson, he was sitting 5th. He is down in 10th. I kind of slighted the importance of qualifying, but when you qualify 10th, you're in amongst it. You put yourself in position for bad things to happen.
Yeah, that's starting to certainly get down into the danger zone there as Young goes faster again. 47 dead.
Anderson clearly listening to the broadcast basically gave a shut up Super DJ as he now sits in 2nd.
Well, you can see him there. I think he really, really benefited from a mega draft there. That's Frederick Neptune, Schlager, and Reese Saunders there ahead of him, as well as a couple other cars. So that's really going to help clean up some air in front of him. He'll really be able to tuck up. I think he may even be able to get a little faster right here. But that 8/10 advantage that Young currently enjoys, that's nothing to shake a stick at, Sue. Whoa!
That's Stefan Schlager going from will be left to right across the track there in that beautiful blue machine moving out in front. Keep an eye on all these guys. I think that, well, this corner is not going to be what they were hoping for. That's not the way they want to get it done. Saunders really gets to the front there away from those guys. Probably lost a lot of momentum. Saunders, Solander in that one. Lee Anderson. Neptune is in this mix as well. Guerreros. Not sure if this lap is going to be their best. All right, let's look at Neil Smet. Down about 18th, coming across the line. This gives you a good idea of how far that finish line is after the chicane.
Yeah, you've really got to get the perfect exit coming out of bus stop there. I know it's not technically a bus stop chicane anymore, but you know, I used to watch this track in the Schumacher, so I'm gonna keep calling it bus stop. But you've really got to nail it to get that good run. We could certainly see a drag race like you talked about earlier, Soup, as we watch Timmy Nylander here. Look like he's going to be able to improve his time just a little bit, I think, as he's going to cross the line here. And yes, he does. Bumps him up, and he is going to stay 20th, unfortunately.
The checker flag is waving, but they're going to let all the drivers finish their hot laps, so everyone is still trying to put in a time. 28 names on the entry list. This is unusual for Spa. 28 drivers, DJ, were able to get in a clean lap. Congratulations for them.
Yeah, that's great to see, and it's a good, we'll be able to sort of gauge everybody here. As you see, that is Burns coming through there, trying to work his way around. Let's see if he can improve here. He's currently sitting 4th with that 48.1. He's going to cross the line with a 47.9. That is going to actually put him down into 5th as Ricardo Law is able to go ahead of him.
Eric Lukel looks like he is going to snake that final 3-point bonus point. And David Burns cannot afford to sacrifice bonus points, and he just gave up 3. I don't think he's going to, well, I'm confident he will not be in the top 3, so no triple points for him today. A few other drivers finishing up their lap. We'll wait till everybody comes in, then we'll run through the starting order here. 28, 14 rows of 2. Round number 5 here. The penultimate round of season 22, the Double Duck campaign. One last dragger out there, that's Mackenzie Mann. Through the bus stop, on the throttle, and across the line. Mackenzie did not improve as, and there's we have Matt Tempest. Matt Tempest, I believe, is that it, director? I think they're all in, so let's go to the grid. On the front row, this could be his round. It's the Junkyard Dog, used junk. Inside of Lee Anderson. We got Eric Lukel and Ricardo Lard. He hasn't raced since season 12. Came back last round. Good for him. David Burns missed the bonus points in 5th. Luis Lujan in 6th position. Vincent Brame and Reese Saunders, the rookie, in 8th. Frederick Neptune in 9th. Rounding out your top 10, another rookie, Manuel Ocheda. DJ?
Starting off in 11th is going to be Wojciech Pocek, the series organizer, followed by Neil Bamber. Christopher Giros is going to be the inside of row 7, followed by Alice Wojciech. Ryan Walker in 15th, followed by Patrick Bennett, 16th. Matt Tempest, we watched him at the end there. He's going to be 17th, followed by Christopher Crook in 18th. And rounding out row 10 is going to be Andre Solander and Nick Carty.
Hidden Blackjack, Stefan Schlager, Timothy Nylander in the double duck spot. Neil Schmidt and Eric Lundberg go in the next row. Edgar Sanchinelli and Kai Allstack go 25th and 26th. The final 2 cars, Mackenzie Mann and Greg Plankert. There you have it. Well, we've given you all the storylines. The question is, can Lee Anderson make it 5 in a row? The all-time record for consecutive wins in Formula Legal is 6, held by the legendary, the Roland Estonian, Aero Num, 8-time champion. Nobody's ever swept a season. Anderson has a shot at doing that. But all that can be put asunder if Just Junk picks up his first win.
Well, at least off the starting line, I was going to say, at least off the starting line, Soup, that's going to be tough for Junk. Watch out for Lucal, Anderson, Allard, these guys behind. They're going to be in prime position to vulture that draft from Junk, and I think a 3-wide action coming down the Kemmel Straight is certainly possible, if not more.
Well, you got to hold your breath a little bit. It is not a long way till you get to Lasource, which is a sharp right-hander. So watch these guys really accordion up. Actually, we're in Belgium. I'm going to go with, we'll go with accordion rather than the concertina here. We'll go American on that one. You can wait for those engines to start to harmonize. Let's get this one underway. We'll talk a little bit about the weather, but you can see it's a little bit overcast as we look high above. A little bit, actually, for Spa, this is darn good weather.
Yeah, for Spa, this is a sunny day. That 69-degree track temperature is going to be good. It's gonna help a lot of tire wear, but looks like we're about ready to go here.
Boy, they've been holding there a long time on the grid. Somebody's slow to get out there. They wanted to make sure that DJ and I both got our GSRC's commentator bonus for getting through the field. We did. Now you hear those little skippy engines start to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The junkyard dog, Use Junk, leads the stampede down into Lasource. Right behind him, that's Anderson, who leaves enough room for Eric Lucal. They get through there. How are they doing through the Lasource? It looks like everybody made it.
Oh, you love to see that. Everybody getting through nice and clean. And now here comes the draft fest. That's Anderson right behind him. Gonna try to see what he can do as they go up through Lasource and Radion, or not Lasource, Eau Rouge and Radion here and onto the Kemmel Straight.
We were a little bit worried about Lee Anderson being down in the order. All right, here comes the pass from second, but we told you this is going to be what happens. Watch Eric Lucal. He got a big toe from third, just ran out of track space and couldn't get the pass made. The hot dog colored machine, the yellow and pink car of Junk, slops into second position. Lucal holds in third, Burns in fourth. Ricard Allard making a return to Formula Neagle after 10 seasons away. Good to have him back, races in fifth. I'm going to talk about the back half of your top 10. It's Reese Saunders, Rodrigo Lujan in there, Manuel Lachetta in a mix as well, ninth and 10th, Wojciech Podolczyk, and the Triton Frederick Neptune running out your top 10.
That top 10 getting through there nice and cleanly, but it looked like Andre Solander and Timmy Nylander had a big coming together there through Lacombe. They are both look like they're parking it for the day, but we're going to stay here up on these top guys as they work their way down through that wonderful Puhan complex. Everybody's starting to fan out, and that's, I think that's, is that Allard getting out there real wide?
And Lujan also goes wide. He's going to lose a position. What is the early storyline so often in these is how long will the lead train be? As there is battling going on back now for sixth position. That's a battle between Ricard Allard, who had that horrible exit, and Reese Saunders. They have to be careful. They'll lose touch with the lead pack, which is now, looks like 4, with the caboose being David Burns in that 4th position.
David Burns doing what we have seen David Burns do time and time again, just sort of hanging back there, letting everything develop in front of him. So this is his preferred position as here goes Junk to the inside, coming through Blanchimont.
So the driver from second moves to first. Eric Lucal probably thinking, I'm not going to be able to drive away from these guys. There's no reason to go up there. You talked about what Burns is doing, and it's what he does. He knows he's not going to be able to pull away from the guys in front, so he just sits back there, and his pit stop time will be less. They start with the same amount of fuel. They don't burn the same amount of fuel as Burns is saving. Uh-oh. It was Wojciech Podolczyk got a hip check. Take a look at this one.
Let's see, coming in there, just trying to get, oh, big hip check there. I think they didn't realize that they were going too wide to the bus stop. That second part of that corner, always difficult. Podolczyk able to continue, though, and get back on the power. He will have dropped back to 14th, though, so tough break for him on the opening lap.
And there's a battle up front. I can also report as we look at that battle that Smet and Garros got together. Their day is done. They can take a fast repair. All right, there goes the frosted purple car of Anderson. side by side with the yellow and pink car of Junk. Look at Junk fighting back in what we call the popcorn position is Eric Lukl. He looks on as they go into Lacombe. Now through Malmedy. As they head to Rivage, the sweeping right-hander.
And that little bit of infighting there, letting some guys catch back up to the pack. That's Saunders, Lucetta, and Allard there. So that opening train up from 4 cars all the way to 7 here, really keeping things tight in the opening laps here in Spa.
We talked about the rookies. It is Saunders in 5th and Lucetta back in 6th. We know that they are fast. Then we set up, we talk about rookies. Then you got the veteran, Ricardo Allard, coming back. He might as well be a rookie. He hasn't raced in 10 seasons. Great 7-car battle up front right now, led by the junkyard dog, Hughes Junk.
You know, Soup, it's really interesting watching what Junk and Anderson are doing here through these sort of sweeping Sector 2 areas of the track. They're both popping out to the inside and the outside, sort of doing a little bit of gamesmanship with each other. I think Anderson trying to fill up Junk's mirrors as much as possible, maybe force him into a mistake, and Junk just preemptively taking an inside line to make sure that Anderson can't do any pop-outs.
Oh, there are a lot of cars racing, and we'll do our best to get back into them. But right now, my senses say that we're going to stay up front for a minute until people start to figure this out. Swapping positions up front as Anderson goes around Junk. I don't want to make too little of it. Lukl, I think, happy in 4th, as is Burns in 5th. The real question is Saunders and Lucetta. Now, here comes Saunders. Saunders is not the most patient a driver. As he's starting to look to the inside, this is a bit scary. He's on the outside now of Burns. He should get the momentum. There's the momentum coming from the outside. Watch how he keeps rolling. He's not going to get him at the start-finish line, but GJ will have the preferred position into La Source.
He'll have the preferred position into La Source, but as we saw on that last lap, he's not going to have the preferred position in the draft. Burns tries to slice back inside, not really happening. Lucetta now going to challenge him. So that little triangle really flavoring out here as they continue to blast their way down.
As we go up, Eric Lukl, Saunders. I am sticking with Manuel Lucetta on this one. I'm getting an official thing that it is Lucetta. Okay. And DJ, want to take it for a minute? Because I've had a freeze here on my screen.
You're all good. We can see him here as that is a new leader of Eric Lukl moving his way up in front of Lee Anderson and Joost Junk. There's still just a squadron of bees there flying in behind them with Burns, Saunders, and Allard. Everybody trying to work their way here. Single file now as they work their way down through Rivage. Lining up here, Anderson diving to the inside again. You can see him just trying to play a little bit of mind games with Joost Junk, seeing what they will do as they work their way through the now named Jackie X corner. As of a couple of years ago, they did actually put a name on that, but now they dive here into Pooh Hall. Still staying in single file. It's a really, really hard area to overtake, but Anderson all up behind the gearbox of Eric Lukl. He's going to have an inside line. Could we see a pass? Nope, they're going to block it off, but Junk getting a little anxious, looking in behind there as well.
Great racing going on now with Lukl up in front. Junk, we're going to stay on the lead for a minute. We'll get back a little bit, but this is really exciting coming up. Manuel Lucetta now sitting in 4th position, the rookie. Burns following. Reese Saunders back in 6th, and don't forget about Ricardo Allard. It is 4.5 seconds from Allard back to Trident. Frederick Neptune, who races in 8th position. We'll check in them on a minute. We ride on board with Allard right now.
Oh, and you can see just how crazy everybody's getting there up in front. Anderson moving his way back to the lead now over Lucetta. He is really liking to make that pass into Blanchimont and be able to lead at the line. So I think we could see that as, oh, there you see in front of them, that's Reese Saunders and David Burns going side by side. Burns now shuffling his way back. He's going to be able to save some mega fuel, but Soup, I've got to think he doesn't like being shuffled that far back in the order.
No, well, last time Saunders took him to the inside of the bus stop, then had the momentum on the wide side out. That time he took him on the outside and was able to make it work. So, yeah, Burns usually doesn't like to mix it up quite so much right now, but I guess Saunders and Lucchetta didn't get the memo there. A large veteran knows what the rules are. He's sitting back in 7th.
Yeah, he's sitting back in 7th and just enjoying watching this battle as much as I am. It looks like Eric Luckel's got a great run here on Lucchetta. He's going to pop out here in just a matter of a second, and Joost Junk coming like a freight train behind them.
We'll stay on the leaders till they get through Lacombe's, and then we'll jump back and look at this battle here for 8th, but let's this settle out here. Going through the middle. That's the hot dog flavored machine there of Junk, but he thinks better of it. They are still side by side up front. It looks like the best of it is going to go to Luckel. They get it sorted out. All right, let's quickly go back and look at this battle for 8th. This is Neil Bamber, former champ, now ahead of Frederick Neptune. And then there's Rodrigo Lujan trying to hang in there. Vincent Bream, one of the 2 stupid dogs, with Ryan Walker. So a nice 5-car battle back for 8th position.
Yeah, good battles up and down the track here. You can see a very similar dynamic to what we were watching in front there. But Bamber's starting to pull about a 3-4 car length advantage over Neptune as they work their way down the hill and through Pujon. Good battles. This is a track where every single corner is one that you've got to maximize on because you can get overtaken almost anywhere here. It's one of the things that makes Spa so spectacular.
Let's get about a 30-second replay of car number 26, Reese Saunders. He just made a mistake, and I'm not sure if it's going to cost him. He went really, really wide through Pujon, and I think he may lose the draft. We'll see if we're able to get this replay. Watch the car in, I think it'll be 3rd position here. As he goes really wide. Here he goes. And then he tucks back in, but he loses about 4 or 5 car lengths. And I worry that he's going to lose touch with the draft right now. It's about a half second. He brings it back in.
Yeah, he's able to, and major kudos there from David Burns, just checking up a little bit and making sure he doesn't run into the back. But it looks like, as we watch live, he's going to be a little farther back, a little bit heavier on the brakes there, so he's able to catch right up behind Joost Junk, keep this nice and competitive, so that mistake not costing Saunders dearly.
It shows you, DJ, how big a factor the draft plays there, as he was, probably 8 or 9 car lengths back, was able to run down the guys up in front.
Yeah, it's mega here at Spa. You can never discount it. But this leading 7 here, just continuing to make some great action and making our jobs pretty easy, Soup, as it's just point the cameras on them and have fun. They're making everything happen here tonight.
About 28 minutes into this race. Not quite at the pit window yet. It'll be opening up pretty soon. Here's another pass for the lead. And it's Anderson now. And Lucchetta, who was up front, now drops to 2nd position, now drops to 3rd position. And here comes Luckel from 3rd position challenging. And he'll have to tuck into 2nd.
He'll have to tuck into 2nd, and Joost Junk there forced to go offline a little bit through that 2nd part of the chicane. That's going to open him up a little bit to Reese Saunders. But there you see Lucchetta really going defensive, making sure nobody can make a move on him through Rivage. But they're going to stay single file here, slightly different lines as they make their way through Ix. But as we now enter into the hopefully more single fire portion of the track, Saunders is going to be hoping to keep all 4 wheels on the tarmac here, not make a mistake like he did last time.
Those 7 guys continue to race. Now, here's what to look for, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs, boys and girls, all of you watching. Really doesn't matter where they race right now, but when they get close to the pit window, you'll see things heat up because everybody wants to be first into pit lane. That's where you can make up your time. You do not want to be, I'll tell you right now, David Burns does not want to be 6th when it's time to pit.
No, he certainly does not, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to be 6th, period. I have this sneaking suspicion that after the round of pit stops, we're going to see Burns really start to put the pedal to the metal and try to move up the field here, but he is now right up the gearbox of Reese Saunders, one of the closest guys here, but up front, that's Lucal and Lucetta really starting to make their way. Lucal may be thinking about making a move, but Lucetta dives to the outside. That's going to be hard. He's going to try to keep the momentum on the outside going into Blanchimont here. Can he hold it?
The momentum to Lucetta, who went the wide way around. Now they get to the bus stop. Boy, he is right on the gearbox of Anderson on the outside. That is Lucal. Lucal, they get it sorted out. Now tucking through the inside. That is Saunders alongside of Hughes. Look at that, they get it done. That is some great driving.
Oh, that is just ultimate respect for your competitors there, knowing that you can make those aggressive moves and really, really hold it out. Oh, great camera shot there from Dougie Beard. You can see everybody's different lines there through the source. They're going to go single file for now. Burns moves his way to the inside, trying to block off and break the draft as much as possible. That's Lucetta running outside wide there, also trying to break the draft, but now everybody's really, you can only take one line up through Eau Rouge and Radion here, and we're going to see this draft come into effect down the Kemmel Straight once again.
Let's stay on them. Here they come. Oh my goodness, the hounds are after the hare right now, and Anderson's going to be put into the rabbit stew. There goes one. There goes two. Is it going to be three? Lucal decides not to, but look at this from the outside. Here comes Saunders making a move.
And Young trying to hold on to that inside line there. He had it through that, not going to make it work through Malmedy. He's going to cycle back into second. Lucetta is going to be first. Anderson back to third, and Saunders now hot on the heels with, that is Lucal trying to make a move to the inside of Reese Saunders. He's going to hold the line. They're not going to touch, and he's going to get it done. That's Lucal into fourth.
Saunders really fighting the wheel on that middle lane, and he was able to do it. Watching everything happen is Burns and Allard. You know, you talked about Burns not wanting to be back in sixth. I'm not sure he wants any part of this that's going up there. So now Lee Anderson sits in third position, your point leader, with the rookie, Manuel Lucetta, out in front. All right, let's hope there's not an incident. We're going to go back and see what's happening back with Bamber. Let's go back into would be like 8th, 9th, and 10th position down there. Neptune has found his way up into 8th. Bamber started the lap in 8th. He's fallen down. This battle is just as exciting back here. Neptune, Bream, Bamber, Lujan, Walker.
Everybody keeping each other honest here as we're seeing more and more good racing throughout the field. And just for a frame of reference, these guys are a whopping 7.6 seconds back from that leading pack. So you can really see the advantage of the pace here as they're all going to stay single file. But that is Bream having a really good run on Neptune. He's going to duck out to the outside just a little bit. I think try to get a better line, some clean air. Going to tuck up in the draft here. He may try to make a move into the bus stop, but ooh, that is going to be Neil Bamber also thinking about a move as you see there Neptune going super defensive, trying to cover off that line. That's going to be Bream on the outside, trying to make something happen. He's got the preferred line. Oh, great move from Vincent Bream.
We'll stay with them until they go through La Source, and we'll check back in on the leaders. It is just as exciting up front as well. Look at them fan out as they're coming at you. You can watch on the tower now. Up front it is Hughes Young that's up in front, but we'll get there in a second. They make it around La Source. All right, let's go up front. They head through Aluge and Radion now. Watch, here comes Lucetta, here comes Anderson. They have a head of steam, and I believe the yellow and pink car is just going to be a sitting duck. He'll be lucky if he holds third by the time this is all done. There goes one. Putting the toothpaste back in the jar is Lee Anderson as he swoops through the middle. Young fell back to third, but now he gets back up into second position. There's about a half-second gap back to Reese Saunders, but plenty of time for him to pull back up.
Most certainly, and really, really heads-up spatial awareness there from Joost Jonk, recognizing when Anderson was clear and when he had some room to maneuver on Manuel Lucetta. That was really, really smart to tuck back into Anderson's draft to be able to hold on to that second-place position.
tip of the hat to all these drivers. Great close racing. I look at timing and scoring. 27 of the 28 drivers are still on the lead lap.
Yeah, only Timmy Nylander being counted really is out of this race. He is a full 6 laps down, but everybody else keeping it on, keeping all 4 wheels on the track and staying on the lead lap as we tick down closer and closer to that halfway point at 20 minutes. So really good driving from absolutely everybody, and just fantastic wheel-to-wheel action throughout the race.
It is a 7-car battle up front that we've been watching. Then we've been tucking back in and peeping on the 5-car battle for 8th position. JJ, what happens so often on the 7-car train up front is someone will make a mistake in like 3rd or 4th position and break the train up, and it sets it into a group of 2. But so far, for the first half of the race, it's the 7 cars that have been up front the entire time, and they continue to race in order. We're getting close to pit stop time, though, and that's when the action heats up.
It certainly does, and almost on cue, Yost Young starts to try to think about trying to do an outside move there on Lee Anderson, but thinks better of it. Everybody going to be relatively single file through the pit stop. There's our first maker. Yep, there they go. That is going to be, it looks like Lucetta, excuse me, Saunders and Burns there diving in.
Yeah, they all came in from the back. What I worry about, if we can put the camera on Eric Lukl. Lukl is now sitting in 3rd. He's got to be careful that he doesn't lose touch, because now Yunk and Anderson can team up and the 2 cars can be really fast. I'm a little worried that Eric Lukl may not have the pace to stay with him, and the gap continues to grow. He just kind of got left out. I really think Lukl might have been better served to come in with the rest of the guys. Here's a pass for the lead. You can see it from Lukl's onboard camera. That's the yellow card of Yunk going around Anderson. And DJ, these guys know what the story is right now. They're hot lapping.
Yeah, they are doing a full-on quali lap right now. He is way off. The draft is not there. He is a full 1.2 seconds back. Lukl is. So that is disaster for Eric Lukl. Whereas for Yost Young and Lee Anderson, they're able to pull away. This is going to put them into a good position to maybe overtake the guys and stay in front of them who just dove into the pits a little bit early.
The good news for Anderson and Yunk as well is when we go back to Lucetta, if we can turn into them real quick, Lucetta's out in front, but he's by himself. He won't be able to run a fast lap. Burns and Saunders are together, but they are considerably farther back. And Allard is going to have to really work hard to get up with the guys in front. So we'll see how this comes around. I would think Anderson is going to probably come in this time, unless I don't see any reason why they would, DJ. I would run it until it can't go any farther. They're running some fast laps.
Yeah, I would too. The only thing I would take into consideration on that is you don't want to end up running solo there. So there may just be a slight bit of hesitation, fake out. But we'll have to see what they do as they work their way down the hill. Yunk really driving that car to the absolute extremes of the track, and there he goes into the kitty litter just a little bit. That's going to cost him a couple of tenths of a second, but able to keep the car pointing forward.
Let's stay on the leaders as they come in. I would expect maybe a pit stop this time around. If they can do this right, and they can turn this into a 2-car battle, that's what they're looking right now. The 337 behind the 13th. I would think maybe Anderson will make a move before they get to the bus stop so they have a clean entrance into pit lane. He's going to wait a little bit. They don't want to be side by side through the bus stop. They want to make sure they got this sorted out. I think Anderson is going to sit back there. Let's see if they've worked it out with each other, and they're going to come both in. 1, 2.
And 3, Eric Lukl behind. Just for reference, everybody, the leader of those first pit stops, Eric Lucetta, is working his way through the unnamed corners on the backstretch here. So he is just now sliding his way down the hill. So about 20 seconds or so, 30 seconds when they dove in the pit. So we're going to have to see what they can do.
Lucetta was in his box for 14.6 seconds. Saunders was in for 17 seconds. That's a pretty big difference. Lucetta about the same interval in pit lane as well. The rookie, Lucetta coming around. Yunk is rolling out of pit lane. He goes around the jack-in-the-box ordering clown. He's going to be out on track first, but he's not going to have the momentum. It's the fast pit stop of Lucchetta that gets it done. Young's going to tuck into second. Lukel is able to jump Anderson, who now sits in fourth. Burns catches up. Saunders catches up. Allard is still in the mix as well. He's been the caboose the entire race, but he's hanging in there.
He is indeed a little bit more fanned out from the front as they come out of the pits, but I think this is still going to leave everybody in play. The one thing to take a look at, Eric Lukel was about a second behind of Jonk and Anderson when they dove into the pits. As here we go, Jonk maybe thinking about a move. No, he's going to back off. But I wonder if Lukel may have underfueled the car slightly. And with the gap that he's got now to Jonk and Lucchetta, that may come at his detriment. He may have to run a little bit softer and not take full advantage of the draft. So he's going to be one to watch through the closing stages of this race.
You know, he might have done it, and with the understanding that he doesn't have enough fuel to get to the end, but he'll need to save. I think another driver that may be in fuel trouble as well as our leader, Manuel Lucchetta, had a really fast pit stop out of all the drivers up front. His was the shortest in the box. Doesn't seem to be scared right now. He's just out in front, burning it up.
He is indeed. We'll have to see. You know, the good thing about this track is there are plenty of areas that you can do a little bit of clutch and coast. You can kind of lift off the throttle very slightly to keep the revs down. So it is easy to fuel save around here for these guys that may have taken a short stop. But there you see from the back of Lucchetta's car, Jonk just all over the back of him, keeping him honest, trying to see if he can force Lucchetta into a mistake.
Now, with apologies to Eric Lukel, who did qualify in third spot, I'm not sure having Lukel leading this second train is the best strategy. If I were them, I may maybe talk between ourselves, maybe so we can get Lee Anderson to lead the second group. They might have a better chance with Lee up front trying to run down the leaders. Here comes Young's going to make a pass on Lucchetta, and Saunders makes a pass on Lukel.
Yeah, I think Eric Saunders is, Reese Saunders is dialed into the GSRC commentary. They're reading your mind exactly, Soup, as they thought about fanning out there a little bit through the bus stop, but they're going to stay in single file. That is Burns and Anderson right behind Lukel there. I think they're going to try to make that move coming down the Camel Straight to see if they can start to leapfrog and get ahead, as that gap up to the leaders from that trailing pack of four is about 1.4 seconds.
They are coming. They're there. Down to about 1.2 seconds now with Saunders leading here. We'll give you an update on how that second train worked out in a minute as things settle down. Let's see if Saunders can close the gap. It's now, oh, it's getting there. 1.4. Here comes, watch Lucchetta now as he's looking to make a move, and pulling out of the way is Jonk. He's going to let Lucchetta go by. I think those two guys are trying to keep it a two-car race. 3 wide behind him. And hello, I'm David Burns, and I'm now in third place.
And Lee Anderson not giving up anything there, forcing Eric Lukel a little bit wide, but Anderson himself runs wide through the second part of that chicane, able to hold it back into line then. So put David Burns back up onto the podium, Lee Anderson in an unfamiliar position of fourth place, and now it is up to Burns to try to close down that gap to the leaders.
Doing a good job. He's got a big lead. Okay, let's press our luck and go back and check on the next train back. 8th position. Out at Fayette was Neil Bamber ahead of Ryan Walker. A little bit of a gap back to Lujan. Vincent Bream has dropped out of that mix. Boy, the racing has been really tight. We have really been hard-pressed to work our way to get screen time to all the 28 cars that are out there. You can understand we're worried that something's going to happen up front. As TJ, it seems like any second the top 5 cars could be eliminated the way they're racing.
4,000% Soup. I mean, this is just, it is the absolute best thing to have happen when you're watching a race like this. It's just good action for the lead across the board. But we watch here as Ryan Walker really starting to put the pressure on here to Neil Bamber. He's got some tighter lines. Looks like he's just got a little bit of a better grasp of that car. But Bamber a little bit faster at corner exits. And that's kind of what's saving him right now.
So that once was a 5-car train is down to a 3-car train now. watch them battle. Let's go back up front as they head down into the bus stop. Junk is going to be first in there. Lucchetta following. Now the gap, boy, it's maintaining pretty static. It's about, well, closing the gap into the bus stop is Anderson. It was about 1.4. He's got 1.3. Depends when you look.
Yeah, it's at about that length, but this is going to be that trailing group's best chance to overtake and to move their way up to that leading pack, with Anderson and Burns running third and fourth ahead of Neagle, Saunders, and Allard. So they're starting to claw in just a little bit, but still the class of the field being used Junk and Lucchetta. So we're going to have to see, unless there's a mistake up front, Soup, I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for Anderson, Burns, or any of these other guys to get back up there.
Well, look, we've heard Burns interviewed several times. He's sitting second in the points, but how many times have we heard him say there is no way that he is faster than Anderson? Now, this is what could happen. Now, look at Neagle. He's clearly not the fastest driver of them all, but he takes a great use of the draft. He scoots through, and look at the run that Saunders is going to get. He was in fourth. They got to get this straightened out before they get to the corner so they don't lose any momentum. Saunders jumps from the very back, and now the gap, well, 1.5. All that horseplay didn't get him much.
It didn't get him much, but that's got to feel good if you're Reese Saunders. That was just an absolutely perfectly timed move. I was watching him back at the beginning of Eau Rouge. He just kind of lifted off the throttle a little bit to maximize the gap and to time it perfectly. Almost like you're watching a super speedway move from NASCAR or IndyCar there. So great move from Saunders.
I don't want to be Chicken Little and keep saying that the sky is falling, but I can't help but worry about how much fuel Manuel Lucchetta has. Although the only thing that makes me confident is his not being scared to lead. So it doesn't look like he's in any kind of mood to save fuel right now. He must feel confident that he's got enough to get to the end.
He's clearly got something, and, you know, Soup, it may be a situation where he's just able to run the numbers a little bit faster than any of these guys. We've seen crazier things happen, so I think at this point, he's not falling off the pace. It's good to assume that he very well may have it, and everybody else may have just overfueled ever so slightly.
Lucchetta, the rookie. And when it comes to, it's just a matter of getting used to the dynamic of the series, figuring out exactly how much you need. Maybe he hasn't figured out a little bit more than these other guys. They are pretty good at it. They're not slowing down. The gap up front now, 1.6 seconds.
Yeah, they keep pulling it out more and more. As you see there, Eric Neagle able to get around Reese Saunders. They'll be able to claw back ever so slightly up the Kemmel Straight, but we haven't seen enough movement on either side of that to really make me think that this trailing pack here is going to be able to challenge Junk or Lucchetta for the lead.
My 7-year-old niece watches these broadcasts. She'll be disappointed if we don't get the camera on car number 23. He's currently in 10th position. He's at the back of this second train we've been looking at. Walker, Bamber, and the great painted car of Louis Lujan there. Donuts and rainbows and unicorns. Makes me happy.
Makes me hungry, Soup, looking at the donuts there. But no, Lujan's done a good job. He was off touch with these guys ever so slightly, really fought his way back up, and now is right on the gearbox of Bamber and Walker there. Ooh, great onboard camera angle from Dougie Beard. You can see just what they've got to do. He's going to be able to take advantage of that double draft up the hill.
Here he comes. Let's see if he decides to go through the middle. They're not going to leave enough room for him to go through the middle. Oh, there it is if he wants it. He looks like he's just sitting back. Actually, they're racing a little more tame than they are up front. We'll wait till they finish this out on the corner, then we'll go check back in on our leaders. There, they get us sorted out. Lujan gets up a couple spots. All right, let's go back up in front. It's the Italian driver now up in front. Yushunk sitting there in second. The gap, 1.6 and holding.
1.6 and holding, but you can see it there in the front of your screen. That is Mackenzie Mann. That is lap traffic that they are about to come on. So that could throw a little bit of a wrinkle here for these lead drivers. But right now it is advantage Lucchetta. He's been able to do it, and I think Soup, he's got this field timed out absolutely perfectly.
Lap traffic can be a blessing or a curse depending on where you catch them. If you catch the lap traffic at the right time, that can actually help the leaders go a little bit faster. I think they're going to be fine as they work their way down into this long stretch. They're going to swing right by. Let's see if Burns. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, heads up there from Mann, getting out of the way, recognizing where that needed to be. So good run from him. Didn't help him out too much as we've got a little bit of action there in the back. That's Reese Saunders and David Burns going side by side. They don't touch the Blanchimont, but Anderson goes wide.
Mann was just trying to hold his line, and they decided that they were going to go to the right of him no matter what. They get it worked out. Now the second group's got their man up in front, Anderson, but the gap, 1.7 seconds. You know, yeah, DJ, this may go all the way back to qualifying where we saw Anderson struggle a bit. Maybe he just doesn't have his typical Anderson pace right now. Yeah, let's see what he can do. It's 5 minutes to get there.
I have to think that's the case, Soup. He just doesn't seem to have that lights out, locked down kind of mentality that we normally see, just unable to close absolutely anything down. The gap's still 1.6 seconds. And I don't think there's anything he can do at this point, as it just looks like Jonk and Lucetta are in a class of their own today.
Boy, Lucetta just dropped back, gave Jonk about a 7 or 8 car cushion, and then just got the swing and just went by him. The gap now up to 2 seconds. Lucetta, obviously a rookie, does not have a win. Jonk has been around for a couple seasons looking to get his first win. We thought today might be the day. He's certainly in a good position to do it. Anderson now sitting in 6th spot. When we talk big picture, DJ, if we want to think a little bit about the championship, Burns has, well, right now about a 3-position lead on Anderson. That'll help a bit. He will miss not getting the 3 bonus points for qualifying.
Yeah, that'll hurt him, but this is exactly what David Burns has to do to be able to keep his championship hopes alive, is just stay in front of Lee Anderson at any cost at all. But you kind of see a little bit in his rearview mirrors there. Whoo! Eric Lukl not making that easy for him at all, as he is just all up behind his gearbox, not caring a lick about the championship, just wants to get up onto that podium.
Tick under 4 minutes to go. Right now, it looks like a 2-car race. These are the 2 drivers that stayed out. Well, no, I'm wrong. It was not. Lucetta did come in early, didn't he? He just came pinned out there. Jonk stayed out long, and it worked out that these 2 guys were the quickest. Here comes Jonk for a pass.
Yeah, Young's going to come back on the inside there. This is really starting to be where you're going to see sort of an advanced look at what the final lap here at Spa is going to look like, as these guys try to figure out, okay, where do I need to be behind and where do I need to make the pass so I can cross that start-finish line? We talked about it. It's right in between La Source and bus stop, so we'll have to see.
They come across the line with just about tick under 3 minutes. I believe we'll have this and one more lap.
I think that's about right. Everybody's starting to go into single file here. Lucetta doing exactly what he's done before, just holding back out of La Source and putting the full power down to get a good move. Anderson running very wide, trying to do the same thing. Everybody trying to get the timing on this pass to work out perfectly, to make sure that they don't have any opportunity for a guy behind him to get by, as Anderson's got a mega run coming out of the top of the hill there, and he's going to get the move to the inside of Burns.
That's what those guys in the back needed to do. They've got Anderson now. Burns looking right behind him with the momentum on the outside of Saunders. They get that sorted out. Up front it's Lucetta and Jonk. The gap has grown to 2 seconds. It's to the point now where I think even if Lucetta were to run out of fuel, and DJ doesn't think that's a problem, and I think he's probably right the way that Manuel is racing. But even if one of the 2 drivers were to run out of fuel, I think they could solo at home with this cushion.
they could probably solo at home, and if they're going to run out, they're going to run out right around the bus stop area, so they may just be able to tuck up in the draft and let that pull them along. But there you see Yonk taking a little bit of a tighter line there, letting that tail end slide out just a little bit. This is really going to come down to, this is the area of the track on the next lap where this is going to be make or break, Soup. It's going to be who can be ahead at the point when they go into bus stop. That's where it's going to be. And the way these guys are racing, I think we very well could see a drag race out of the bus stop for the lead.
Indeed. And I'm not sure what the preferred position is into the bus stop, whether you want to be on the right side or the left side. We've seen it work both times. We saw Saunders do it on Burns, once from the inside, once from the outside. Well, let's give a look here, see what the leaders are going to do. I wonder maybe if Yonk maybe not going to show all of his cards here. He's going to get it done early. He's pulls, and he's going to get this pass made right here. This may actually be too soon to get the pass. It may allow Lucchetta a chance to get back in.
Yeah, there you see Yonk. He's able to move ahead. I think you're right, Soup. If I'm Yost Yonk, I'm thinking this out a little bit, is that I want to throw what seems like the obvious move right here to try to lure Lucchetta into a sense of security and maybe think he's got it. But it looks like from right there, if he can be ahead by the time they dive in, that's where he wants to be. Now, this is all going to be down. They're going to take the white flag right here. This is down to Lucchetta. Let's see what he can do.
Anderson has moved it down. The gap now 1.5. He's coming. What a tall order for Lee Anderson. But it is closing. This may be a classic case of too little, too late. And you got to worry about Lucchetta's race strategy here to lean way far back so he gets a run on Young. He's got to be careful he doesn't turn into a stepping stone for Anderson now. And I think really that might be why the gap shrinks and grows so much between Lucchetta and Anderson, is how far Lucchetta sits back behind the leader.
I think you're right, but Soup, I'm watching Lucchetta. He got the run wrong. That's
sure did.
Way out ahead. I don't know if that's strategic, that he doesn't want to be leading and wants to be able to make the pass that we saw Yonk do on that last lap, or dare I say, is he running out of fuel?
I think somebody may have said that was an issue, but we'll see. I would not be comfortable leaving this much of a gap. A little bit of contact going on behind there. They get that sorted out. Burns, Anderson, and Allard. Anderson now has fallen back into the 6th position. Boy, Lucchetta continues to leave a big gap here. He might be saving it for one big move. Hopefully have enough fuel to power down out of the bus stop. He's about 6 car lengths back.
This is where it starts to get into make or break, going through that sort of right, left, complex. This is where he's got to go. The last turn here through Stavolo, he's got to put the power down as much as he can. Pray he gets a good run. Young runs a little bit wide, but he's able to keep about a 0.5 of a second gap. Can he close? Can Lucchetta close?
Just the bus stop in front of him is the passing zone that is left. Hughes Young looking to pick up his first career win. The Junkyard Dog takes his half out of the middle. Now drifts to the right. It looks like he's going to protect the inside line going into the bus stop. Lucchetta closes. Again, Young stays to the far right. Lucchetta has nothing for him as they head to the bus stop. Young will be in first. Young will be out first. Looking for some momentum from the Italian drivers. There's nothing there. He's out of fuel. Can he lip it across the line? No, he loses it. He'll finish second to Saunders. The win goes to Just Young. Second place to Saunders. Manuel Lucchetta gets third. Eric Lukl fourth. Lee Anderson's quest to shoot the moon is over. He'll have to settle for fifth. We go back to the other battle. We've watched the entire race. Bamber first to the bus stop. Green caught wide. Making the move on the inside is Ryan Walker. He'll pick up one spot. We go back to this battle. Tempest in 14th position. Ahead of Luis Lujan. Oh, Luis loops it in the bus stop. Get it going. Here comes Kai Allstadt. He's not going to get there in time. Lujan does donuts one corner early. Lujan nurses it across the line ahead of Kai Allstadt. See if we can cover. We didn't give a lot of love to some of these drivers. Let's give them some love as they come across the line here. Greg Plancard. Wojciech Podorczyk, we didn't talk much about him. He'll get 17th. Stefan Slocker going to close it in for 18th. DJ, one of the drivers that was up in that second pack early on was Frederick Neptune. He fell back, 19th for him.
Yeah, had a really, really long pit stop, Soup. I think he either suffered some damage or had something else go on, but he's going to cross the line here to come home in 19th. Whew, got a little squirrely there, but able to keep it together, and he's going to cross the line.
And the rest of the drivers will come across, so as they do, I will tell you right now that the racing is almost over here at Spa, but the broadcast is far from done. We're going to take a very short break. We're going to come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's penultimate round coverage of the Formula Neagle Season 22 Championship. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. DJ and I have been saying all season that this guy's going to get a win, and he did. The Junkyard Dog, Use Junk, picks it up. His first career win. Congratulations to him. He started on the pole. He did not hold the lead all the way through, but he gets the win. Reese Saunders, another rookie, he was able to snake that second position when his fellow rookie, Manuel Luqueta, ran out of fuel at the very end. Luqueta able to coast it across in third. Eric Lukel will have to settle for fourth without help from the P2 Championship. The Shoot the Moon hopes are done for Lee Anderson, and Aero Num's 6-race win streak record remains intact. Lee Anderson settles for fifth. He does finish ahead of his rival in the points, David Burns, so the gap grows a little bit more. It won't be decided going into the final race, but it's a nice cushion for Anderson. Let's finish these out quickly. Ricard Allard and Neil Bamber go 7th and 8th. Bamber wins that second train battle. Walker in 9th and Vincent Bream in 10th. DJ?
Bringing the car home in 11th was Christopher Crook, followed by Patrick Bennett, Nick Cardy in 13th, Matt Tempest in 14th. We watched him cross the line. Luis Rodriguez Luan had a little bit of a spin there and ran out of fuel, but he was able to cross the line in 15th. Kai Alpstead in 16th. Greg Plankert in 17th, followed by Wojciech Podorczyk in 18th, Stefan Schlacher in 19th, and the Trident Frederick Neptune bringing the car home in 20th place.
5 more drivers running at the end. Edgar Sanchinelli, Christopher Garrels, Eric Lundgren, Neil Smet, and Mackenzie Mann. Then 3 drivers that ran into trouble. Andre Solander, Elise Wojtek, and Timothy Nylander. Before we go to interviews, I just want to make a point. We at GSRC, we pride ourselves on trying to cover the entire field. It was impossible this time with the racing up front. We were lucky to get back to that second battle. So apologies to all the drivers that didn't get the screen time this time. We'll try to do better next time. Stick with us. Let's go to interviews right now. And we're going to be able to talk to Eric Lukal, who was able to finish in 4th position. Eric, you have a copy?
Hello, guys.
Eric, I want to talk pit stops. And when you decided to come in, you stayed out 1 lap longer. Was that okay with when you decided to do that? Stay out with the 2 guys up front?
Yeah, well, it wasn't really an active decision. I was a bit surprised that so many of the guys in the group pitted early. I thought we would run the tanks empty and then pit. So I was kind of surprised by that. And I fear that's why I lost the contact to the leaders. But yeah, it just got a bit unlucky.
Surprised with names like David Burns and Lee Anderson in your group that you weren't able to run down the leaders.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess you saw it. The leaders, they didn't make any mistakes and they kept trading the draft. So yeah, it was very hard for us to catch them. Unfortunately, it didn't work.
Okay, I want to talk about you for a minute. I've been watching you race for many seasons. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. You're getting faster.
Well, yeah, the last few races have been good for me, to say the least. I mean, last week was my home race, of course, at the Nordschleife, so that's a bit of like a plus for me. So that's why I was so much on pace last race. And yeah, to be up front this race again, I didn't actually expect it, but I got lucky in the qualifying to have draft from David. And as you know, David, he's the quickest driver in the field together with Lee, maybe. So yeah, I got really lucky today in quali.
Well, keep it up. It is fun to watch you race up front. Congratulations on a good season. You're on your way to the P2 Championship. Well done.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Eric Lukal, 4th place finisher today. Hey, who you got?
I've got David Burns back in the booth after that run. David, lots and lots of drafting out there, lots of side-by-side action. A little weird to not see on the podium, but it's got to be a fun race to have driven.
Yeah, Spa always is, and it always is when there's that much swapping a draft. But can I just talk about Lee's luck? How can he have 2 contacts and still survive that race? What is going on?
I don't know. We saw that as well, but that was a little bit crazy. Looked like some of the guys ahead of you had some fuel problems. Were you ever in doubt? Were you looking at counts, anything like that?
No, not really. I'd calculated it correctly, and thankfully I haven't made that mistake for quite a few seasons now. So no, I was right on the money. I had half a lap left coming to the line. I apologized to Manuel afterwards because I wasn't actually looking at him slowing up. Thankfully, it was after the line. But yeah, fuel wasn't really an issue, to be honest.
Gotcha. Well, Anderson was able to finish just ahead of you in line, so that's going to extend the points advantage. Closing in on the end of the season here, do you have anything less that you can try to get him at?
Well, I think we've seen what kind of luck he has, even with 2 contacts, which I told Eric off. I said, if you're going to kill him, please just actually kill him next time. I'm actually only kidding that. So, no, I'll just give it all I've got. But to be honest, he is such a strong contender that I really think the championship will be his, and he deserves it. He really does.
Well, David, as long as you're up there, we hope you can keep him honest. And congrats again on a really strong race, even if it's not the normal podium we're used to seeing you on.
Cheers for that, guys.
There you have it. The man who's second in the purse, second in the points is David Burns. And finally, we're going to get a chance to talk here with Stefan Slocker. Stefan, didn't get a much chance to see you race back there as the excitement was up front. You got yourself a pretty good finish.
Actually couldn't have been worse of a finish because I had quite some decent speed, got screwed over a little bit in qualifying by car, slowing down right on the racing line when I was on the top 10 lap. And then, yeah, race starts with this many cars, and Lecombe really had a big pileup. I don't know if you saw that. But yeah, rear wing missing after that, had to pit, and then I was pretty much a lone racer all race long. But hey, at least mid 48 without draft. I think I showed to myself that I had the pace up front.
you can only get up there with the front guys. You could race there, but honestly, starting in 21st position on the grid when you got that sharp hairpin in front of you, that's something you don't want to be in, right?
Yeah, not really. Obviously, you're in the middle of the pack there. You never know what is gonna come. But that hairpin actually was surprisingly clean. It was just up top after the camel straight. That's normally where the chaos comes, and boy, did it deliver.
Self-serving question to get you out of here. You broadcast here on GSRC. Do you have a broadcast later today, or are you done?
No, I actually will jump into action with Justin in, I think, just 2 hours time with the Big C's MX5 challenge.
The MX5s, that's always fun to watch from Skippy's to MX5. Well, I'll make sure to check in and hear you call on that one. Good luck on the broadcast, and thanks for stopping in with us.
Hey, thanks. No problem.
Stefan Slocker. Go ahead and check into that, folks. You'll love Justin Prince and Stefan Slocker calling the action for the Big C MX5 Championship up in a few days. All right. Thanks to the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and contacting with GSRC to broadcast. And thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on our broadcast. The original music that gives every GSRC production that unique flavor and feel is thanks to June Lalonde. See the screen for contact information on screen. Now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Formula Neagle returns in 2 weeks. That's going to be December 6th. So decorate your front yard with some pineapple shrapnel and go ahead and join GSRC and celebrate Pearl Harbor Eve as we're going to watch the finale of the season and when we go to Mount Panorama. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. And while you're here, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting the subscribe button. If you'd like some unique gift, head on over to our merchandise store. That is gsrc.storenvy.com. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, DJ, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. As we saw Use Junk, the Junkyard Dog, get his first career win here at Spa. Congratulations to him. And now that all the housekeeping's out of the way, it's time for us to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.